Scarface, 1983, is a film that defined an era, with unforgettable performances and one of the most iconic characters in cinema history, Tony Montana, played by Al Pacino. But after 42 years, where are the stars now? In this video, we dive into the lives of the cast, from Michelle Pfeiffer's rise to fame as Elvira to Steven Bauer's memorable role as Manny. What have they been up to in 2025? Join us as we explore their careers, personal milestones, and the fascinating paths their lives have taken since the film's release. You won't want to miss this update on the Scarface cast. Robert Loggia played Frank Lopez in Scarface in 1983 at the age of 53. Frank Lopez was a powerful and dangerous drug lord whose intelligence and ruthlessness were evident in every decision he made. While the character exuded wealth and control, Robert's own life was filled with challenges and emotional turmoil. His personal life mirrored the darker aspects of Frank's world, as he faced several failed marriages. Loggia was married twice, with his first marriage ending in a bitter divorce. His second marriage was marked by struggles that ultimately led to its demise, leaving him dealing with the emotional aftermath of another broken relationship. Loggia, despite his professional success, faced a significant health battle in his later years, suffering from Alzheimer's disease. His mental decline led to a sad and lonely end, a stark contrast to the confident and ruthless characters he portrayed on screen. Robert passed away on December 4, 2015, at the age of 85 from complications of Alzheimer's. Paul Shenar, who portrayed the menacing drug lord Alejandro Sosa in Scarface in 1983 at the age of 47, played a character whose cold demeanor and calculating mind made him one of the film's most memorable villains. Off-screen, Paul's life was marked by a series of personal struggles. Although he had a successful career, his personal life was not as smooth. Paul's relationships were often fraught with difficulty, and he never married, perhaps due to the strain of constant work and the isolation that comes with fame. In the later years of his life, Paul faced the tragic diagnosis of AIDS, a devastating blow that left him grappling with both physical and emotional pain. His decline was swift, and he lived his final years in relative seclusion, away from the public eye. On October 11, 1989, at the age of 53, Paul Shenar passed away from AIDS-related complications, a personal tragedy and a reminder of the toll that illness can take, ending the life of a talented actor far too soon. Miriam Colon portrayed Mama Montana in Scarface in 1983 at the age of 53. Mama Montana was a fiercely protective mother who tried to shield her son from the dangers of the drug trade he was entangled in. In real life, Miriam's journey was fraught with struggles, both professionally and personally. Though her career flourished with roles that highlighted her strength and resilience, her own life was plagued by emotional heartache. Miriam had to navigate a series of personal losses, including the painful loss of a close family member to illness, which deeply affected her. She was married twice, but both marriages ended in divorce, and she never remarried. She faced the challenge of balancing her career with personal grief, often finding solace in her acting roles but struggling with the emptiness in her personal life. In her later years, Miriam battled health issues that took a toll on her vitality. She passed away on March 3, 2017, at the age of 86 from complications of a pulmonary infection. Angel Salazar, who played Chi-Chi in Scarface in 1983 at the age of 27, was a character full of energy, loyalty, and humor, providing some light-hearted moments in the otherwise brutal world of Scarface. However, Angel's own life mirrored the darker elements of the story. Despite his success in Hollywood, Angel struggled with drug addiction for much of his life, and it severely impacted his personal and professional trajectory. His addiction led to a tumultuous personal life, with failed relationships and a lack of stability that haunted him throughout his later years. Angel never fully recovered from the grips of addiction, and his life spiraled further as he continued to battle his demons. On August 11, 2024, at the age of 68, Angel tragically passed away due to acute intoxication from drug use, a heartbreaking end for someone who had once brought such energy and vibrancy to the screen. Margolis portrayed Shadow in Scarface in 1983, at the age of 44. Shadow was a quiet, intimidating figure who lurked in the background, a menacing presence in the world of crime. In real life, Mark's career was defined by small but powerful roles, yet his personal life was fraught with turmoil. Mark's marriage to his wife, Jacqueline, endured despite many challenges, including financial struggles early in his career. He was known for being a workaholic, often losing touch with family and friends as he threw himself into his roles. The isolation led to emotional distance in his relationships, especially with his only son, who faced difficulties with substance abuse. Mark's personal battles with depression and anger were rarely seen in public, but they were a constant source of internal strife. His life was marked by long periods of professional obscurity before he found a second wind in later years. He passed away on August 3, 2023, at the age of 83 after a short illness. Al Israel, who played Hector the Toad in Scarface in 1983 at the age of 48, portrayed one of the film's most ruthless characters. Hector the Toad was a violent and unpredictable figure, feared by those around him. Sadly, Al's own life was marked by the kind of struggles that are all too common in Hollywood. Al's marriage ended in divorce, leaving him to navigate the challenges of being a single parent, an experience that deeply affected him. Despite his many roles in film and television, Al struggled with finding fulfillment in his personal life. As he aged, Al faced various health issues that affected his overall quality of life. In his final years, he lived with the deep regret of not achieving the happiness he had hoped for, and he passed away on March 16, 2011, at the age of 75. While his death was not directly tied to a single cause, it was the result of the toll that a life filled with both personal and professional struggles had taken on him. Richard Belzer played the MC at the Babylon Club in Scarface in 1983, at the age of 39. As the lively and charismatic MC, Richard brought energy to the film, but his real life was filled with darker, more tragic moments. His early career was marred by personal tragedies, including the death of his sister in a car accident, which he never fully recovered from. His tumultuous relationship with his first wife, whom he married in his late 20s, ended in a bitter divorce, leaving Richard emotionally scarred. In the years following his rise to fame, he faced several struggles with substance abuse and was often seen battling with demons of his own, as he tried to cope with the pressures of fame. Despite his acting career, he never found true stability in his personal life. His later years were spent in a constant battle with depression, and Richard withdrew from the public eye more and more. He passed away on February 19, 2023, at the age of 78. Victor Campos portrayed Ronnie Echeverria in Scarface in 1983, at the age of 48. Ronnie was a loyal and dependable ally, yet Victor's personal life was filled with the kind of chaos that often accompanies a life in the entertainment industry. Though he was known for his dedication to his craft, Victor's relationships were marked by dysfunction and heartbreak. His first marriage, to an actress, ended in divorce after years of emotional strain and infidelity, and he struggled to maintain any meaningful connection with his two children. Victor's addiction to alcohol and drugs during the peak of his career further strained his family ties and pushed him into a downward spiral. Despite finding some success in acting, Victor was overshadowed by his personal turmoil and the weight of his addiction. After years of dealing with physical and emotional pain, Victor passed away from complications of prostate cancer on December 4, 2018, at the age of 83. John Brandon played Immigration Officer No. 3 in Scarface in 1983, at the age of 54. The immigration officer, a stern and authoritative figure, was a small but crucial part of the story, mirroring John's own life in the acting world. His career was marked by a series of underappreciated roles, often relegated to supporting characters or background figures. However, the real tragedy in John's life came from his personal relationships. He struggled with numerous failed marriages, never truly finding the happiness he sought in love. His relationships were often turbulent, and his children grew up feeling the absence of a stable father figure. Despite his success as a character actor, John often felt overlooked by the industry, and as the years went on, his financial struggles became more pronounced. The collapse of his career was accompanied by a deep depression, which he masked with a tough exterior, never letting anyone close enough to see the pain within. He died on August 25, 2014, at the age of 85. John Carter portrayed Vic Phillips in Scarface in 1983 at the age of 56. Vic was a no-nonsense character who ran the operations with cold precision, and Carter's commanding presence fit perfectly within the chaotic world of Scarface. Despite his intense role, Carter's career never reached the heights that many anticipated, and he was often stuck playing similar tough guy characters in lesser-known films. His personal life, however, became a tragic backdrop to his career struggles. Carter's son tragically passed away due to a heroin overdose, an event that spiraled him into a deep depression and fueled his addiction to alcohol. His battles with alcoholism and emotional pain took a toll on his 2 marriages, both ending in divorce. His relationship with his children also became strained, and his career faltered. As he grew older, Carter found it increasingly difficult to regain his footing in both his personal life and professional career. John Carter passed away on May 23, 2015, at the age of 87. Mario Machado played the interviewer in Scarface, 1983, at the age of 48. His character was a calm, professional figure amidst the chaos of Tony Montana's world, offering a moment of clarity in an otherwise volatile film. However, Mario's personal and professional life did not follow the same trajectory as his character's calm demeanor. After Scarface, he found himself typecast in smaller, often forgettable roles, unable to replicate the success of the iconic film. His 2 marriages ended in painful divorces, with his career difficulties playing a large role in both separations. His relationship with his children also suffered, as he became distant and emotionally unavailable due to the pressures of his personal and professional life. In his later years, Mario faced serious health complications, including pneumonia, which led to his death in 2013 at the age of 78. Roberto Contreras played Rebenga in Scarface in 1983 at the age of 55. Rebenga, a character motivated by revenge and justice, was one of the many hardened individuals who moved through the brutal world of Scarface, and Contreras brought a sharp, determined edge to the role. Unfortunately, despite this memorable performance, Contreras' career remained unremarkable, with few roles of note after Scarface. His personal life mirrored the troubled and vengeful nature of his character. Contreras struggled with alcoholism and depression, which seeped into his relationships. His 2 marriages ended in divorce, and he became estranged from his children. He was often in and out of rehabilitation, but his personal demons were hard to overcome. As his career and personal life deteriorated, Contreras withdrew from the spotlight, living in relative obscurity and battling health issues in his later years. He passed away on July 18, 2000, at the age of 71. Al Pacino portrayed Tony Montana in Scarface in 1983 at the age of 43. Tony Montana, one of Pacino's most iconic roles, is remembered as a ruthless and ambitious drug lord whose fiery temper and unyielding drive for power made him both a tragic and charismatic character. Pacino's portrayal of Montana launched him into even greater stardom, but it also came with a burden. Despite his immense success, Pacino's personal life was plagued with tumult and emotional turmoil. His first marriage ended in divorce, and his relationship with his children became strained. His battle with depression, fueled by his overwhelming fame, caused him to question his worth and place in the world. The pressure of living up to his fame, coupled with feelings of isolation, caused Pacino to retreat from the public eye at times. In 2025, despite being an acting legend, Pacino remains deeply introspective at 85, often reflecting on the choices he made and the toll fame took on his life. Dennis Holahan played the banker in Scarface in 1983 at the age of 41. The banker, a calculating and ruthless figure, was a perfect fit for Dennis's sharp screen presence. However, in real life, Dennis faced deep struggles in his career and personal life. Although he enjoyed some success in the 1980s, his career failed to gain sustained momentum, leading to frustration and self-doubt. His marriage to actress Julie Carmen, which seemed full of promise, eventually ended in divorce due to the constant strain of financial instability and his own internal battles. Dennis's mental health deteriorated as he struggled with addiction and feelings of failure. These personal demons affected his ability to maintain steady work, leading to a retreat from Hollywood. Now, at 82, Dennis lives away from the public eye, and his legacy has largely faded, overshadowed by his personal struggles and lost opportunities. Steven Bauer portrayed Manny Ray in Scarface in 1983 at the age of 27. Manny, Tony Montana's loyal and charming best friend, was caught in the web of ambition and violence that defined the Scarface world. While Bauer's performance was widely praised, his career trajectory was far more tumultuous. After Scarface, Bauer struggled with typecasting and could not replicate the same level of success in Hollywood. His personal life was plagued by a series of failed marriages, and he faced difficult relationships with his children. Bauer's battles with substance abuse, particularly cocaine, led to destructive patterns in his personal and professional life. His issues with addiction were exacerbated by the pressure of living up to the fame that Scarface brought him, leading to a spiral of emotional and professional struggles. As of 2025, he is 68 and continues to work in the industry, but the echoes of his former struggles remain, overshadowing his once promising career. Michelle Pfeiffer played Elvira in Scarface in 1983 at the age of 25. Elvira was a glamorous, enigmatic figure who seemed to have it all but was trapped in a world of materialism and despair. While Pfeiffer's performance earned her critical acclaim, her life off-screen was riddled with struggles. Her early career brought great fame but also enormous pressure, contributing to feelings of loneliness and self-doubt. She married actor Peter Horton, but their union ended in divorce, and her second marriage to TV producer David E. Kelley faced its own challenges. Juggling a career in Hollywood with raising 2 children, Pfeiffer struggled with balancing her personal happiness and public life. She went through periods of depression and emotional turmoil, feeling overwhelmed by the high expectations placed on her. By 2025, at 66, Pfeiffer remains mostly out of the limelight, focusing on her family and finding peace after years of inner turmoil and constant reinvention. Pepe Serna portrayed Angel in Scarface in 1983 at the age of 39. Angel, a loyal and brave character, was committed to his friends and always ready to face danger head-on. While the role was memorable, Pepe's career was marked by a series of struggles, especially being typecast in stereotypical roles that limited his opportunities. His marriage to his first wife, Maria, was marred by emotional distance and infidelity, and they eventually divorced. Despite having children, his family life was deeply affected by financial instability and his constant battle with the pressures of Hollywood. Pepe has spoken openly about the toll that these struggles took on his mental health and personal life. By 2025, at 80, he lives a more private and quiet life, far removed from the spotlight that once seemed promising, but still carrying the scars of a career that never fully lived up to its potential. Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio portrayed Gina in Scarface in 1983 at the age of 25. Gina was the innocent, loving sister of Tony Montana, caught in the chaos of a dangerous world. In real life, Mastrantonio faced her own turbulent journey in Hollywood. After Scarface, she struggled with being typecast and found it difficult to land roles that showcased her true talent. Her career, though promising, never reached the heights expected after such a breakout role. Her personal life mirrored this instability. Mastrantonio married actor Patrick O'Neal, but their relationship quickly soured, and they eventually divorced. She raised 2 children alone, all while facing the stress of being underappreciated in Hollywood. The weight of unfulfilled expectations and a career that faltered led her to periods of emotional distress. By 2025, at 66, Mastrantonio has stepped away from public life, quietly dealing with the regret of missed opportunities and a career that never fully reflected her potential. Yulin played Bernstein in Scarface in 1983 at the age of 46. Bernstein was a cold and calculating lawyer, a character who was always looking for ways to bend the law to suit his needs. Yulin's own life reflected a similarly cynical trajectory. After Scarface, Yulin was unable to find roles that could match his iconic portrayal of Bernstein, leading to a slow decline in his acting career. His personal life was no less tragic. Yulin's marriage was marked by profound unhappiness, with years of emotional turmoil and constant arguments. He and his wife eventually divorced, and the separation was not amicable, causing significant distress to their 2 children. Yulin struggled to cope with the personal fallout from his broken marriage, and the toll it took on his mental health was evident in his erratic behavior and spiraling depression. In 2025, at 87 years old, Yulin has become a recluse, living far from the public eye. F. Murray Abraham played Omar in Scarface in 1983 at the age of 44. Omar was a cold, calculating figure who sought power through manipulation and deceit, traits that, in many ways, paralleled the personal struggles Abraham faced in his career. Despite his success in Scarface, Abraham's path afterward was fraught with professional and personal challenges. He struggled to break free from being typecast in similar roles, and his career stagnated, with opportunities becoming scarce. His personal life was equally tumultuous. After a public divorce, he remarried, but his second marriage was marred by infidelity and emotional estrangement, which caused a rift in his relationship with his children. His career, compounded by these personal difficulties, led to bouts of depression and isolation. By 2025, at 85, Abraham has retreated from the public eye, living in relative seclusion, grappling with the sadness of unfulfilled dreams and the personal losses that defined his later years. Gary Carlos Cervantes played Shooter No. 1 in Scarface in 1983 at the age of 30. Known for his ruthless character, Gary's real life was no less intense and filled with turmoil. His career after Scarface took a sharp downward turn as he struggled to find meaningful roles, often overlooked by casting directors. His personal life mirrored his professional setbacks, marked by his troubled marriage to fellow actress Lisa, which ended in divorce after a series of emotional and financial difficulties. Gary's battles with addiction only added to the strain, pushing him further into isolation. Despite having a son, the relationship was strained due to Gary's ongoing struggles with mental health. At 72 in 2025, Gary lives quietly, largely away from the public eye, haunted by his past and the career and personal life that never reached the heights it once seemed destined for. Gregory Cruz played Shooter No. 2 in Scarface, 1983, at the age of 26. Shooter No. 2 was a ruthless, loyal enforcer who served Tony Montana, carrying out orders with deadly precision. Unfortunately, Gregory's career followed a tragic path after the film, as he was often relegated to playing similar villainous roles, unable to break free and secure more prominent, diverse opportunities. His personal life mirrored his struggles in Hollywood. He married young, but his relationships were marred by emotional neglect and infidelity. Gregory's connection with his children suffered as a result of his personal demons, and he wrestled with deep emotional turmoil. As the years passed, Gregory battled serious health issues, including a stroke that forced him to retire from acting. Now 68, Gregory lives far away from the public eye, reflecting on the opportunities he missed and the emotional and physical battles he continues to fight, a shadow of the promise he once showed in Scarface. Johnny Contardo portrayed Miguel Echeverria in Scarface, 1983, at the age of 32. His character, Miguel, was one of the few loyal allies Tony Montana had, showing devotion and readiness to support his friend even in the darkest moments. In real life, Johnny struggled to maintain a solid career post-Scarface, being typecast in similar roles and finding it hard to break out of supporting parts. His personal life was equally tumultuous, marked by a bitter divorce from his first wife after years of neglect and infidelity. Johnny's relationship with his children was strained, and his financial troubles and personal demons made it difficult for him to forge meaningful connections. Despite having 2 children, his career never quite took off as he had hoped. Now 73, Johnny lives a quiet life away from the spotlight, often reflecting on what could have been. The pain of unfulfilled career potential and personal failure lingers as he navigates his twilight years. Who is your favorite character from Scarface? How do you feel knowing that some of the actors have passed away? Don't hesitate to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this content, please remember to like, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you won't miss future videos. Thank you so much.